What's going on, everyone? All you Beyond Podcast listeners. I am Mike Scarfo, one of the owners of AOA Studios, and we are here for a very special 200th episode edition of Beyond Podcast. And I'm here, of course, with the two men that run Beyond Podcast. And gentlemen, it's been about 100 episodes since you've been here. I've been here last, roughly 2 years. Lots changed, and I just want to say thank you guys for wanting to do the episode here. And I'm grateful that I'm the one that gets to recap the last 100 episodes, last 2 years with you, along with you guys, go through this journey, and just congratulations to all the success you guys have had. It's been truly special to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we said it. I'm sure we can pull it up, but we said at the 100th episode that we would do 200 here.
We did.
The 200th episode.
We'll pull it. We'll find it.
Yeah. So I know the clip's there, but yeah, thank you for having us. Obviously, your success and how beautiful your studio is. We're honored to be here. Honestly,
it's awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Yeah, we wouldn't want to do this with anyone else. We really appreciate it. You got him off the ground with technology, which
literally
was huge. And thanks for passing that on to me. Appreciate it.
Of course. No, you're welcome, John. You've been you're kind of killing it, man. With and all that stuff. I'm glad. So, last time you guys were in here, right? 100 episode. Which is already a huge feat too, but 200. I mean, you guys have been at this now for, it feels weird to say, but almost 4 or 5 years now at this point, like in total, or
yeah, it's 5 years.
5 years, right? Coming up.
Birthday was in September.
That's insane.
Yeah. So when you look at the math, it's like 40 episodes a year. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we do a good job of being consistent, and our guests kind of pull us in different directions. I think the first 100 episodes we focused so much on coaches. And we were just maybe starting to have some more athletes on. But I feel like these last 100 episodes have been a lot of athletes. And then different avenues. I mean, John's ability and his skill set is so great that we've had people on from different business ventures or maybe outside the realm of what we typically cover. And a lot of that is because they want to work with us, particularly with the great stuff that he does. So, yeah, to get the 200's been great. We've had some awesome guests on. Our viewership has gone way up. Our social media accounts, our trailers, we just noticed there's been such an increase in the amount of views. So, we're kind of sticking to a formula, but sometimes we get pulled in different directions and we kind of just go with it. And I think that's the beauty of Beyond, is that name Beyond. We used to be Beyond the X's and O's, and we changed that to Beyond, and because we just felt like, man, there's so many different avenues we can travel. And John gives us that ability, I think, with his skill set. And so it's been great. It's been good.
I feel like you both have, in your own ways, helped Beyond as a brand grow, right? To be more than sports, like you said, all right? There's a lot of things I want to talk about tonight that are literally beyond sports. It's not, but that's kind of the root of it at the same time, right? Kind of where you guys found that commonality and that appreciation for athletics. And, I think the biggest thing that I love about your guys' platform so much is that, of course, it's grassroots. It's, you're getting in these communities and seeing how the inner workings of all of them. But I think what the biggest thing is that you guys come across, it's so easy to see, is that it's not so much it's about sports, but it's about what you learn from sports and kind of what it means to be a part of a team. And all those things that those cliche things that coaches talk about frequently, right? Of we're not all going pro, but what can you learn from sports that you can, take into your own lives? And I feel like it all sort of finds a home there, which is really cool. And just to see that elevation for both of you in your own right to in contributing to it, which kind of leads to my first question I want to ask you guys. So where have you seen the most growth or the most glaring part of Beyond that has changed from episode 100 to episode 200?
I think it's just the content in general. I think we never limit ourselves on what we're covering. And I think that because we've recognized that, these student athletes, they're not just athletes. They're not just on the field or on the court or on the ice. They have lives behind the curtain that we're pulling back on, so we get to see, their home life. We get to talk to them about incorporating school and academics into the game and stuff like that. So I think having no limit and being able to find those different avenues have definitely changed everything that we're doing with videos, the content in general, and even the episodes that Anthony's doing and the interviews. It was pretty much kind of like a scripted thing at the beginning where it was okay, I'm just getting this off the ground and I kind of want to follow this pattern, but now the sky's the limit, and he's able to recognize that I can talk and ask about anything with all these kids and things like that. So I think it's definitely changed big time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree with everything John said. I think that, you know, a lot of this comes down to, like, we were athletes once upon a time. I was an athlete once upon a time, a long time ago. But it's like true. Like, so you understand the work that goes into it. And as a coach, and I know how much work I put in as a coach to be successful at it, right? I think there's a difference between going there and doing it and going through the motions versus being invested and being there. And we try to capture that. I mean, one of my favorite things we did is John went to Malden Catholic when we were covering them for their documentary and followed one of the students around the school.
That was really cool. I
and
like
that is like, that's the stuff we really want to do. Like, if I had the ability to do that all the time, we would. Right. But that's the stuff that we want to capture, and that's the stuff that makes us really different than maybe other people that are kind of in the same, you know, department that we are. Is that we don't limit ourselves, and he said that. Like, we will take chances, we'll try different things. Like any successful person, you throw stuff against the wall, but it only has to stick so many times for it to be like a great idea, right? And that's what I think is so good about us is like he has ideas, I have ideas, we chat about them, we figure it out, and we implement it. And I think that that's been kind of the biggest change is that we're not afraid to take chances, maybe like we were conservative for those first like couple of them, you know.
Like, imagine, like, I think about it, right, as being a former high school athlete myself, right? Like, what it would have been like to have a media team come in. Like, I mean, I won a state title in high school for basketball, like, you know, and even at the time, we had like some cool, like, media personnel coming into the school, like, you know, just from like Salem News and Boston Globe and stuff like that. That was a big deal at that time, right? But to have like imagine, like, for me, like a grassroots, you know, organization, podcast, you know, I don't even know what you guys are at this point, like just straight up company, and coming in and like documenting a day in the life of like me as like I don't want to say random high schooler, but just like what that, I don't know, it just gives kids like that like an opportunity to, it just becomes so much bigger than the sport, you know what I mean? Which is like, I think your whole brand as it is, like it just works. And like just to have the, you know, have the ability and just the wherewithal to like go and do that. It really is really starting to build community with it. It's just like really cool to see.
Yeah, I think I've said it before, but like the most that we have, and you know, thank God, my parents definitely took a lot of pictures and videos and stuff like that. But all my stuff's on faded newspaper, VHS tapes that are deteriorating right now. That stuff's, you know, it's not going to stay around forever. You know, I have some faded photos and things like that of and what have you. But this content, you know, my biggest goal is I hope to say, you know, when I'm out of the picture years and years and years from now, I'd like to think that there's going to be grandkids and great-grandkids that are looking at pictures of their grandfathers and grandmothers and saying, wow, this is cool, or watching the videos back or what have you. And who knows what will be the new technology then, but, you know, just to know that that's around for them right now. Yeah. I wish I had stuff like that 100% when I was a kid.
Making these kids feel like they're celebrities, for crying out loud, which is just a good thing, right? You're like shining a light on what they do.
Yeah, the day I was at that school, I was following a basketball player around, and all the kids would gravitate, and you could tell they all wanted to get in the shot. They wanted to see what's going on, and they're all like acting a little different. And is that camera recording? And then you see them like jump in and like give them high fives and stuff, and you're like, okay, yeah, like I get you. But again, it definitely makes them feel that status, definitely celebrity status, that they get that content.
Really cool, really cool. I want to talk to you guys about, one of my other questions was, I guess these kind of things go hand in hand with the media days you guys have done, but also like just your season coverage in 2024 and getting into that. I know that was kind of a more, I don't think you guys were doing much of that or any of that when you were in here for your 100th. I think like between 100 and 200 is when you guys like really, I feel like, hit the ground running with some of these media days and covering some of these sports like Shawshene Tech. Obviously is a big one for you guys. Malden Catholic, I know you guys brought me in on a couple of those things, which was really cool to be a part of too on the camera work side. So just kind of curious on, you know, how that sort of started for both of you guys and your own perspectives, but also like where it's going and where it's gone and like how it's just expanded beyond as a brand.
I think that when we started with the cameras out on the field and what have you, and I think we would do a video on a team and, you know, it'd give 10, 15 minutes. And then we were saying to ourselves, like, that's just not enough. You know, there's more to it. Like, we tried. I remember our very first video was with Somerville basketball, and that was like our first legit long video. And we went to a practice the night before. We went to the game, and when we were all done with it, we're like, all right, well, there's a lot of stories we could have hit upon. Like, there's another game coming up. That, you know, this is a whole season going on, and I think this year we took the chance on actually documenting a couple of teams with their season. And we did as much as we could, because I think we always talked about the goal being kind of like a 24/7 hard knocks type thing, which is, it's really hard to do because these teams are practicing every day. Kudos to the coaches and the kids. They're practicing every day. They're playing almost every single day. Their seasons are starting now a lot earlier. This isn't just a 3-month season. This is, for instance, baseball kids are starting their winter workouts soon. Hockey kids are playing hockey in the summertime. Football kids are doing summer workouts like in the dog days of summer, So I think for us to recognize, let's tell a true full story. That's what really changed this year, is that we had that chance with Malden Catholic basketball, and we had it with Medford High baseball, and it was awesome to see, because then you actually build relationships with those kids too. Then they they know that you're coming, and you're documenting their journey, because that's what these seasons are. They're not one game, they're not one practice, they're an entire journey, and it's nice to be able to cover that.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, like we use Justin Marino as an example. This was a kid that our first years of covering Beyond stuff, he was a freshman, and we saw him playing a Thanksgiving game. And I look back at that as like the biggest moment of Beyond was we covered that game for Medford for all intents and purposes, but Malden won, and we just like kept the cameras running, right? And then that next Monday, Malden's AD reached out to us, and it was like boom, Beyond kind of started taking off. But the point with Justin is that Justin was a freshman, and we were able to follow this kid for 4 years. It was like as our business grew, he grew in status of athleticism and, who he was and how he developed. And now to see him at Endicott and being so successful, and we were able to document his high school career for all intents and purposes in some big games and big moments and things that, like John says, he'll have when he has kids and has grandkids. And, there's a long lineage of his family that runs through Medford sports. And that's a cool story for him to be able to continue. And we were able to cover that over like a 4 or 5 year span. And to me, I always look back at that and I go, God, like I think to that, man, we really are doing such a great service for families and kids and memories. And we make it come to life, and we're not stale. We're not the same. We really try to change it up all the time, and it's been fun. It's been honestly like so fun to be able to do that stuff.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I also like want to commend you both for like thinking about it from that angle, right? Of like not getting complacent in one sort of type of way you are covering, these sports, or even sticking to any one sport. I think like being open to some different avenues and different ideas is actually a good thing. Like it's how I've kind of led my life in a lot of ways, right? It's like, it's almost to my detriment sometimes, right? And I think that there is a limit there, but I think that there for you guys has been so many moments where you're just incorporating other avenues of this business that's like just makes sense, and it like you said, I think the biggest thing is like adding value. I think anytime like you can lead with that, you can't lose at that point. If you're adding value to anything, like that's kind of what you're just striving for,
I think it happens organically too, because we've gone into every game that we've covered. I don't think we ever wind up doing what we thought we were going to cover or following a certain thing, because a kid could stand out that you didn't think was going to be the standout kid, or something was said, or a moment happened in the game or before the game, or a pregame speech or what have you, and we've seen so many different things that have happened, and it's an audible thrown at us all the time. And I think that's where we shine, is the fact that we don't go in with a specific game plan, and we're only going to follow that, and we have the blinders on, and we have tunnel vision, and we're only going to do that. We're literally open at all times. There's times that we're talking, 2 minutes into a game, like, hey, remember that? Skip that. Let's do this instead. Or I'll be texting him. He'll be in the end zone on one side. I'll be on the other side. Like, let's do this instead of that, And I think that goes such a long way with us too, is just being able to change on the fly at all times.
Yeah, I was wondering about that actually. Do you guys have each of you like a specific moment in one of these coverages on any of these sports, any of these teams, at any of these high schools that I don't want to say is like the most memorable, but something that just kind of like a time you had to pivot and it really stood out, or like a kid that you didn't even think about, like you're saying, like popped off and something happened where he just like became a star from that. Like just kind of curious, any moments like that just stand out from, I guess, just grand perspective, I guess is the best way I can put it.
I mean, the biggest moment that stands out to me, I think, is there's a clip that I just recall from this 2024 season with Shawsheen Tech, and we covered that team for 3 years. And I remember the first game we covered with them. I said to John, I go, "This is a good football team. Like, we got to stay with this squad because they got something here." And they were like built in all their classes. They were good. They weren't like a senior heavy team. They were just like built across the board. But to be at Gillette Stadium, you were there, and there was a clip that, they played Foxborough. They were down late, and Foxborough kind of had to throw the football. And their star quarterback, who was their safety, all-world, everything, picks the ball off on the sideline, like right in front of the camera.
Oh, yeah, I caught that.
And goes down
too.
on the ground, like puts his hands up.
That was crazy.
And to me, that moment was just kind of like, God, we covered this program for 3 years, and we just caught the pinnacle of it, like what they built, what they've done, how close they were the year before. And to catch that moment, to me, was kind of like, and even talking to his father, who's a defensive coordinator, and those coaches, they go back to that clip a lot. And I've had to delete clips on my phone because of memory stuff, but I will not delete that clip because that clip to me summarized like our journey with that team for 3 years,
Yeah, funny you brought that one up because I thought it was special, and I wasn't necessarily privy to like being there for 3 years and seeing it. Like, and in that moment too, I know exactly what you're talking about because I remember like that felt like the game was over at that point. Like they had kind of sealed it, and so I think because Foxborough was kind of driving at that point, I think they were just over midfield, and it seemed like they were maybe gonna, score and make it a game, and then I feel like that kind of sealed it.
And we had a pivot because that was a low-scoring game. It was like 0-0
Yeah, it
going
was
into
nuts.
the fourth quarter. I'm texting John, like, dude, no one's scoring. Like, I don't know what we really have here besides the intro and like kind of the hype to Gillette Stadium.
Yeah.
So those moments, like, you caught that, and it just like it changed everything.
Yeah, that was No, I was on that sideline when and caught, and that was awesome. That was a really cool moment.
Yeah.
I would say mine was one that was pretty sad at the moment was, again, going back to Malden Catholic basketball, we followed them all season. They were dominant every single game. Like, even the games where it looked a little iffy in the first half, they came back and they just destroyed every single team that they played. And it was like, and our whole thing was all 4-1 was the title of the documentary. And it was to say that they were going to win 4 in a row. They were very confident that they were going to win 4 in a row. They hired us to document it. It was crazy. And we get to the championship game and we're like, okay, well, this is, we know what the ending's going to be. This is awesome. Here we go. This is what we've been here for since January. We were talking to the AD back in November of last year. And, this was a long time coming. And I think we did 6-7 episodes. I followed the kid at school. Like, it was just so much invested into it. And we go in and they got their butts kicked. Yeah. And I remember just looking at him down the court and just going, what the, and we got in the car at the end of the game. It was somber. It was like, even us, we were heartbroken. I mean, we followed these kids. We were so sad for them. We were sad for us. I was sad for me. Like, what the hell am I going to do to edit this thing? I sat in the car. I said, I don't know what to do. No idea. So I get home and I'm like, what do we do? Okay, let's get the pregame stuff at Malden Catholic. Okay, let's get to the game. And then it was just the other team just destroying them. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do here? So putting it together, again, just on the fly, it was, let's get all the pregame stuff. Let's get to the stage that they got themselves to, which is still such a miraculous feat. Oh, God, 100%. Yeah. And having that and then quickly showing the game, it was like, all right, well, let's show that not everything comes true. But then at the end of the game, they were hugging each other. They were holding each other up. And I was like, okay, that's the moment that we make this all about. And again, the game footage, out of, I think it was a 14, 15-minute video, I showed 45 seconds of the game because I don't think they're going to want to really remember that. But then I did like a whole montage at the end of all the things that we covered throughout the year, and it ended on a happy note. And again, such a journey, and to fall short, it was at the beginning saying, this is not going to be a good video, but they loved it because it was like, thank you for showing that off. Like,
it was real.
It was real, which is great, 100%.
Yeah, it was the best video. I mean, of all the videos he put together for that documentary, that video was the best. And like, you kind of go back to that of like, sometimes things just don't work out the way you think. But that video was so good. I mean, their AD was even like, wow, that was like the perfect way to end this. Like, thank you guys so much. Like, so his eye for it. And when remember he sent it over, I'm like, dude, this is like, because we couldn't figure out what we were going to do.
I said to you, I made the video and there's about 45 seconds of the actual game.
Yeah.
And we did so much during there because the court was awesome. It was in Lowell. It was professional court, like big, huge stands. Like, it was such like a big, huge, dramatic thing, and we got nothing from it that I'd ever want them to watch again. Yeah.
The duality of sports, though.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sure. No, I mean, even just to win a state championship is a very difficult feat. And for them, the fact they were even in a position to win 4, I mean, that's speaks volumes about a lot of that. I mean, I played for Coach Walsh, so I get it. You know, I know what those kids. I had kids come. It was funny. Had kids coming up to me after one of the games I was there. We were at chit chat, and I said I played for him, and he just gave me, it's like when you play for Coach Walsh, it's just like this unspoken. You're just like, okay, shout out to you, Coach Walsh. I'm not, I don't mean that as a bad or a good thing necessarily. It's just yep, we know
that was all. I mean,
it was really cool to like
the team I had to edit the most too because of the pregame speeches and what have you. So that was definitely one that.
Really? You sure about that?
There'd be times we look at like there'd be this awesome speech, and then it would be like boom, 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 and we look at each other like, stop.
Drop that on.
Sorry.
Oh man, I digress though. So in terms of episodes, I want to definitely move into some other things you guys have been up to outside of sports, but just to kind of close, I guess, this chapter of the episode here, what's been your favorite episode of the last 100 and why?
Episode 150. I mean, I
you
think
know the number
episode
too. I
150
like that.
was a great episode. No, I mean, it's halfway through 100.
Fair.
But it was that episode was very specific about like event that happened at work with my morning show and stuff like that.
Oh, that was 150.
That was episode 150. And John and I were on it, and it was very raw and very like what it was, and
I was in Vermont on a lake listening to it.
Yeah,
on a Sunday
and our
morning.
viewership
I remember
for that
where I
was
was when I listened to that.
The amount of text messages I got. What surprised me most about that video wasn't like the people that I knew would listen to it and have an opinion. It was the amount of coaches that I realized that listen to this podcast. Coaches that we've covered, coaches I've never heard of. Oh, I'm the O-line coach from here, or I'm the offensive coordinator from here, or I'm an assistant basketball coach from here. I heard what you said. I heard that's ridiculous. But like so many people messaging me because of that. And that stood out to me to make me realize like, wow, there's so many people that listen to this, not just maybe the people you always expect or think listen to it. That episode stood out to me. I mean, for the side reasons of what we talked about on there, but more the aftermath of it, like how many coaches and people support you. And I think that's sometimes when you do this, it's lonely, and sometimes it's a lot of work. And John could tell you he's editing for hours, or I'm emailing or messaging people, and you're trying to like work this or do this or be a part of this, and and so you're working constantly on it. So to have so many people reach out to you and be supportive of that was cool. That was kind of like a boost that I needed in that moment at that time where I was, to be like, wow, people really respect me, respect what I do, and kind of have my back in a lot of ways, which was really nice. So yeah, that specific episode stands out. 150. It's off my head for many reasons, but yeah, that's it.
Awesome. You?
I mean, it just happened to be one that I was on. Not going to say much more than that, but the one that we did with female wrestler Katie Arquette was awesome. I think that was cool. We both huge wrestling fans growing up, and getting her on and hearing that back end story of like what it's like in the business, and to hear and she got on TV and stuff like that. She actually got to a couple of big promotions, and I love that one. That one was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, wrestling's great. Anytime we do wrestling stuff, it's great.
Yep. Well, I mean, hey, you guys, 200 episodes is like quite the feat. I mean, the fact that there's not a lot of podcasts out there that even get to 100, let alone 200. So you guys and the fact that it's still growing and there's a trajectory there is just amazing. What I have noticed over the last, I kind of alluded to it a little earlier, the last few years with Beyond is sort of this insertion of kind of your personal lives within it. Both of you in your own right. Anthony, I think this is a good place to start with you. I've noticed that even using the Beyond platform to not promote yourself, but to just show, like, kind of open the door a little bit and kind of take the curtain back and show us a little bit into your life. Like you kind of even just alluded to it with episode 150, right? That kind of had not a lot to do with necessarily Beyond, but just sort of sharing that moment and things like that and that struggle, but bringing us into your life as a dad and being obviously a dad to 2 twins and being a teacher and all these things. Like, why do you think it's important, or what have you seen to be like the most important thing about giving your viewers and your following like a glimpse into your life? past beyond as just like a business and a platform?
That's a really good question. I think, for me, it's just, I think as we're growing this, I think it's important to people to know who you are, right? I think if you are doing something that people are following and paying attention to, like you root for good people in general. And I think of myself as a pretty good person. And I want people to see me as a dad. I want people to see me as a teacher. I want people to see the different things that I do, because I think it's really important as you grow something. It's not just kind of what they see, it's kind of like who you are too. And like I said, people root for good people, and like I think of myself as that. And I think it's important, like being a dad is my most important job. Like it's not a job you get paid for. It's not a job that is, that stops. It's constant. It's 24/7. And I love it. It's like my favorite thing. Like I post that stuff because I want people to see that I genuinely enjoy that. And that is the most important thing in my life. Like the Beyond stuff's great, and being able to showcase other kids and their, parents, kids or families or whatever is an added bonus to what we do to give people something forever. But like home base is important too. So for me, I want kids to see my kids. They're funny. They're great. I take pride in being a good dad, and I want to show that off. So I think that really helps with growing Beyond and people buying into what we do. John's a tremendous dad. He's constantly at his daughter's games. He's constantly, doing stuff with his youngest. Like he's just, like it's very easy to like work with someone like him because we are very similar in that sense. So showing that stuff off to me is important, because I think everything that you do, there's a human aspect.
Yeah.
People need to see that human aspect of you. They might have opinion of what we do and what we say and how we act, and that's fine. People are allowed to have that. But I also want people to see that we're humans at the end of the day, and we do the same thing that anybody else does on a daily basis.
No, it makes sense. I think my favorite artists, actors, whatever, you name it, anyone that does anything creative, like, or has a platform, like my favorite people are always the ones that are vulnerable and show a little bit of humility and show like not all the glitz and glamour of what social media is can be and is, you know what I mean? I get, and I see why that is the case. I mean, you're trying to market your best self, put your best foot forward, but I think like to showcase like those vulnerable moments is also really important, because it allows for other people, like you said, that maybe don't have that type of platform or aren't interested in that, but still want to support other people to like, maybe a shared struggle or even just to, put a smile on somebody's face or something relatable to, either of you as a dad. And John, I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, but I just think like for you, like specifically recently, like you being so vulnerable and just like open about your weight loss journey and seeing like that post of you talking about how you weren't even sure if you wanted to, create the post in the first place. And I remember jumping on there comments and I'm like, nah, you own that shit, man. Like that's, sorry, I'm supposed to swear on your podcast.
That's right,
but
Episode 200, dude, everything, you can do whatever you want.
All right, fair enough. I just want to make sure.
We'll put a warning above the
yeah,
screen.
warning.
No, I totally agree, and I think there's so much content out there. People can watch anything, but I think to be able to, pull the curtain back on both of us too is huge, because there's not enough people rooting for other people in this world. It's crazy, and I think if you can root for the people that are putting that content out there, because what we're doing is we're showing the other sides of these people too, of the players and of the coaches, and all these kids that we cover, they have parents, they have caregivers. We're the parents, we're the caregivers. We were once them. I think it shows all sides of yourself, and I think it's gigantic to be able to have someone else rooting for you and wanting to see more content from the people that you're supporting as well.
It's funny you mentioned that when you were talking about that, it kind of gave me another thought too, and it probably comes back to the Malden Catholic incident where, they obviously didn't win the game, and that was like a super emotional and vulnerable place to be in. Like in most ways, you sort of have this like responsibility to kind of showcase all the parts of it. And obviously, a lot of it's mostly the good parts, but like games are lost, right? Yeah. The coach might have a moment in a locker room that's not the greatest or whatever, but you showcase all of those things and like show the growth of all these people and on their own journeys and stuff like that. So like, I guess that makes sense for you guys to want to show the same and show like it's okay. Like, we're all human. We all make mistakes. We're not perfect. And I think social media sometimes like perpetuates that, unfortunately, right? Or perpetuates that as sort of a narrative that, we're only going to show the best sides of ourselves, but we connect on more things that, things that are negative about ourselves or insecurities about ourselves than
we
anything
have so
positive.
many more things that we're all related with, and
Yeah.
we don't give ourselves the chance to even have those discussions with people. Sometimes we shut them out, we close it off, and you'll never learn from other people if you don't talk about it. So
And you just had that moment some of the moments that last night with what you've built with Shawsheen Tech goes beyond the football aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
Both of you, the fact that they were able to come and support you and your family in a time of need as well. I don't know how much you want to explain to that, but you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I won't get into super things. Obviously, my daughter Ruby, there's a few things going on with her medically, and I'm glad you said that, because that's like when we think of Beyond. That's a team 3 years ago that, when I used to coach, we used to play them. When I was a head coach, like, I helped set up that Thanksgiving game between them. Like, so there was a connection that I had with them there, but outside of like the game of football, there really wasn't much. So for us to go in and over the last 3 years to build something with them that's bigger than what we're doing, to talk to these coaches in the off season, to keeping track of these kids, to, going out and grabbing a drink with some of these guys, like in the spring and summer. It's amazing yesterday for them to come by my house. Obviously, they know something was going on, and they reached out to me, and it went from a couple of captains coming by to the whole team being on my front lawn with their jerseys on and being supportive and bringing gifts and fun things to my daughter and to my son. During a time that's tough. And I think about what we built here, and we talk about giving memories, and we talk about being there for people, and like that, what we have built, to have that connection, to have these people who just know me or know John as like a videographer, to show up on your front lawn with all these kids and cards. And that speaks to what we've built here. And that speaks to what beyond is beyond what we do. It was emotional. And for that, I never expect that in a million years, like never. And to see that, it just made me realize what we built and how special it really is starting to become, or has been, and maybe it's just finally opened to my eyes to realize how much we've affected like a bigger picture and a bigger audience of people that they want to support us at our most difficult times. Like, I just can't get over that. I'm still kind of in awe of it. And their coaching staff, to their players, to everybody, that's something we've built here that you don't see very often. And I'm proud of that. And I thank you for bringing that up, because it meant a lot, and I just, for my daughter, it was like amazing.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. No, and it's something she'll never forget.
Yeah.
Her reaction was so cute.
Yeah,
it was really awesome.
Just being Ruby, like just being literally Ruby. Awesome. She's a character.
Trying to make them laugh, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
kids are really resilient, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
In both facets, right? To have like high school kids have that type of empathy, right?
Yeah.
Not to say that high school kids don't have empathy, but I remember when we all were at high school before, right? It's like a lot of times you're thinking about yourself, you know what I mean? And so it's like for them to have that sort of vulnerability from that side is special, and it speaks to the relationship you guys have built with them. So that was a beautiful example. Speaking of beyond what you guys are doing, no pun intended, I'm seeing different events, right? Like working with professional sporting teams, like the mass or semi-pro teams. That was the Mass Pirates.
Yeah.
What was the other? Was it Ultimate Frisbee?
Boston Glory. Yeah.
That's
Boston
wild,
Glory.
man. Like
yeah.
just the craziest things, right? That you wouldn't ever imagine. Sonny's Boxing, right? Getting into that, we're doing content for them. MC. I got a list of stuff that you guys have MC or you've MC'd, like the Brother for Fallen Gala, Chamber of Commerce, Run Medford, the Shriners Game, Boston Glory.
The Shriners Game. How rough that
Medford
was.
Mayor, right?
Yeah.
You did the inauguration for that. Like, so I guess just talk a little bit about those instances and how, again, this might seem a redundant question, but like how Beyond has grown even past just the field and the court and the ice.
I think John does such a good job from a videography aspect that we just kind of feel like we have so much we can kind of offer and bring to the table. And I really tried over these last 100 episodes to build Beyond as like kind of that brand a little bit. Like we can MC events, we can come in and take pictures, we can come in and take video. John can edit and he can make a 50-point loss look like a 20-point win. And that's kind of the magic of what we knew we had. And for me, I felt like I've always kind of, held back a little bit on myself and put myself out there with different things, maybe because I was a teacher and I was just conservative or whatever. But I've just kind of learned that I feel like through this podcast, I've gained confidence to, we were the videographers for the Boston Glory, and their playoff game 2 years ago, the MC at the last second couldn't come. They were in search of one. I was like, I've done this a million times. I've never done it, And the playoff game, there was like 1,500 people there, and like I was a wild man, and that got me the gig this year, and then they win the championship. Like, I joke with this with John, but when we look at our 2024 season, 2025 season, if you like truthfully look at it, Shawsheen won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
MC was a game away from something spectacular.
Yeah.
We caught Mefford winning the GBL for the first time in 10 years in baseball. And the Boston Glory win the Professional Ultimate Frisbee Association championship. I mean, that's beyond touch. I don't know what you want to call it. So if you want to
win a championship, you hire us?
I think that's what I'm trying to say here is that, we had such a special year, and a lot of that just had to do with us really just focusing on our talents and taking, these gigs on the gala, like 500 people. Like, I was so nervous. I'm like, what am I going to, but I felt like I did so well. They asked me to come back this year, and like John's going to be doing the videography stuff and making a video for them like he always does. And I'm going to be emceeing it. And Beyond has complete, like, we're so entrenched into that event that, like, yeah, I'm proud of that. Like, the emceeing stuff has really kind of catapulted us into, between the photography and the upgrade and camera work to emceeing, like, yeah, it's taken us to that next level that we are a business that can do a lot, can offer a lot.
Yeah. Anything you want to
piggyback
off?
I've thinking about all those events too. I mean, I can't help but think about what we started with too. Was we both used our cell phones. He had an iPhone like 5 when the 12 was
I think I had
out.
an Android first.
No, he did. That's right. Remember, I was a part of those conversations early on.
Texas Instrument calculator is what he had.
I had to convince you to get an iPhone. I remember
flip
this.
phone. I think a Nokia.
Jesus. Yeah, you had the Zach Morris phone. And he's, and that's what we were using. That's what we started with. And the more and more that we did it, we recognized that we had something, and we invested in ourselves. And now we've got 2 amazing cameras, and we've got a lot of great equipment now, and we look legit. We're not popping on the fields with little selfie sticks and iPhones anymore, because I'm sure
it makes
we
a
got
huge
some
difference.
looks.
I'm not even going to lie. It makes a
100%.
difference for sure. Being in this world, right? I mean, again, like the believe it or not, like the phone takes pretty solid video. It's not like the phone doesn't take. I mean, but again, it's like some of these cameras that we use in this. It's like it does make a world of difference.
Absolutely.
But like. I think that's like a good thing for anybody to hear. It's like you can start low budget anything. Like it's all about doing the thing. Right. It has nothing to do with like this
portfolio.
thing or better than
Just
that. Yeah,
build
it's all it is,
portfolio.
man.
And over time, you don't, because at the end of the day, you don't want to spend a bunch of money on a piece of equipment you don't know how to use, because all you're going to do is get frustrated, and God knows what will happen. You might actually stop doing what you love because you're so frustrated not being able to learn that. And you're just and who knows what you've just prevented. Like, you could have had this great empire or something like that, but because you bought something that you didn't know what you were doing, you ruined it, So I think, again, trust in yourself. It's a process. I look at the stuff that I made 5 years ago and I go, that's crap.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
I
so
do the same
bad.
shit.
But it was awesome then. I was like, this is great.
Build our business.
Yeah, exactly.
Build our business.
Everyone starts somewhere.
100%. No, I feel the exact same way. I look back. It was funny. This is actually a good segue. One of our big clients, the Chirping Zebras, specifically Mark Riley. Shout out to Mark Riley. Yeah. Last year at the end, he'll probably have me do it again, but he had me do like a year in review of like all their episodes. And I was like, cool, I can do that. And it was funny to look at the footage of their first episode to I can't remember what number they were at last year, but to see that growth. And it was like, oh my God, I put out that first episode and thought that was good. Like they paid for that. Like, holy shit. You know what I mean? So it was like, one of those things where it's like, you look back.
You kind of hope they don't see it. Don't look at that.
I was like, you sure you want to use stuff from the first episode?
I
think we can leave the first like 5 episodes out. They look like shit.
All the beginning of Beyond stuff was made by Anthony. Wasn't made by me. Just
on my Nokia.
There we go.
Yeah, that's so funny. But transitioning to In Boston Magazine, man, you got a feature there. I was there for you guys. We have some people. I know they've been absolute quiet mice back there. They've not said a peep.
We got an audience.
We got a little in-studio audience. Majority of them were at this In Boston Magazine event that I was actually at as well to support you and celebrate the fact that you got this story written about you. So talk to me a little bit about how that sort of came to be.
Yeah, I mean, the lady, it was funny that I got invited to this spring thing, and the lady had DM'd me. I'd never talked to her before. So I posted on like the story thinking that she just wanted us to share it or something. So I was like, all right, we'll share it. And then I was like, hey, like, do you want us to do anything else with this? And she's like, no, it's a ticket to come. And I went like by myself to the spring one and just kind of felt like a fish out of water, if I'm being totally honest. Like, I'm like, why am I here? You know what I mean? And the lady spoke to me. We talked for a few minutes, and then maybe a week later reached out about, doing a piece on us and doing a piece about, Beyond Podcast. And I was all about it, and I think for us, if nothing else, that just felt like legitimacy, like for someone to see what we were doing, like, and we found this by accident, I think in May, John, tell me if I'm wrong, but all of a sudden I texted him, I was like, dude, this link came up, I got this thing emailed to us, and we were like the number 24 podcast in the state of Mass, like out of the top 100 podcasts in Massachusetts, we were number 24.
Oh.
And that was like unbelievable. And it was a legit thing. It wasn't like just made up, like, and there was some real good podcasts ahead of us, but to see ourselves on that list, that was something that she noticed and saw, and that was part of the whole reach out when you put the pieces of the puzzle together. And that speaks volumes to us. So, like, to me, that was such a victory for Beyond, because I mean, I talked about the event that day. I know people there that remember, I stayed off my phone that day because I really wanted to enjoy the moment and soak it in. And we got a few pictures there with the people that were there, and that was really it as far as the social media stuff went, because that was just kind of a victory for us. And I just felt like I wanted to enjoy that moment, enjoy being put in something. And we did post a few pictures and things like that, but afterward. But yeah, it's just cool to see what we were, this like rinky-dinky podcast, and now being somewhat mainstreamed in Boston,
Cool.
was cool.
That's super special.
Cool. Yeah.
What is one positive thing about each other that you think adds to...
We both just literally smirked like at each other.
This is going to get sappy.
So hold on though. I got a 2-part question.
Okay.
I'm adding to it. Something positive or, great that, or what makes each other, working with the other person special, right? Because you guys clearly have a good thing going. And then I kind of want to peel the curtain back a little bit. Was one moment where maybe there was a disagreement about a way to move forward, or something a difficult moment that had to be overcome between the two of you. I'm curious to pull back, maybe see if there's any tea, not to be clickbaity, but I just want to throw some.
I don't even think it's that bad. I'll start with the positive.
Yeah. We want to start with the positive. Yeah.
I'll start with John. I think I'm gonna get a little sappy here, but like I just think the type of guy John is. Like, to me, what I love about working with John is that John's a good dude. Like, John's a good person. John's a good dad. John's a good everything. And to me, that's the most important thing. Like, I try to surround myself with people that I feel like value-wise are the same. It's just an added bonus that our interests are also the same too, right? So I think working with him, I would say being able to work with such a good dude and such a good person and someone that I trust and like value their opinion. I think that, and I built a great friendship with him, a great relationship with him, and can vent to him about stuff that's not just Beyond, but that's like life. So that's been the positive, is that I've gained at an older age, you gain a really good friend and you gain a really good like person in your life. So a little sappy there, John, but right. I would say that.
Yeah, it's a positive thing about Anthony. I think everyone knows this, and this isn't to, sound cliche or anything like that, but his work ethic is probably the most I've ever seen in anyone I've ever seen in my entire life. He is everywhere, anywhere, whenever, however, doesn't matter what's going on. He finds time for everything, and it's incredible because, again, I think we all wish we could clone ourselves once in a while to be able to do everything. I don't know how the hell he's done it, but he's actually cloned himself. I don't know who I'm talking to half the time, whether it's the real Anthony or not, but he's always where he needs to be, where he wants to be, and he's always thinking of other people first too while he's doing that, which is almost impossible because you think about that, you'd be like, oh, all right, well, he's just doing what he wants to do. No, he was doing what everyone else wants him to do, but he's able to do it. I don't know how he does it. I really don't. It's incredible. He finds the time and the energy and the heart and the passion to be everywhere all at once, and it's incredible. And I think everyone would agree with me on that. And it's motivated me. It's, you know, I think about the things that he goes through and the things that he's done, and it makes me push and keep going with all kinds of things. If I'm sitting there editing a video and I'm like, oh, I'm done with this crap right now, I don't want to do it anymore. And I'm like, no, I want to finish it. Like, he finds a way to, you know, he's a teacher and he's getting out of school and he's flying up 93 to go to a football game, and then he's going home and he's taking care of twins, and it's like all this, it's like, he's doing that. Like, there's no reason that I can't do that kind of stuff, you know? But again, I would think that anyone would want those qualities, and to have that and to see it live in person all the time, it's incredible.
Thanks, Stu. Wow, that's really nice, John.
You're welcome.
That was incredible.
You owe me $20 now. Anthony wrote that ahead of time. No,
Well, now I get to, now we can potentially ruin the moment and go from sappy to, I want some juicy details here. Like, I want to know some tea.
Do you want to go first, or do you want to
no, you go ahead, because I'm going to do mine based off what you say.
That's true. That's tough. No,
See what the barometer is, you know?
I think the biggest thing that we struggle with is that we're good people, and that sometimes what people want from us and what people expect from us, sometimes I think we will battle a little bit, because I think sometimes people try to take advantage of our kindness a little bit. And I think we both struggle with it because we both just want to do right by people. But I think sometimes that causes us to not bicker back and forth, but just to be like, let's not forget our value and what we bring to the table with certain things. And I think that we both struggle because we do want to, like, make everybody happy. So sometimes in the process, like, sometimes what makes people happy and what sometimes, you know, puts more stress on us. And I think we kind of try to check each other so much with that, of being like, is this worth it? Like, should you be doing this? Like, you should be asking for way more than, like, you know, like that stuff. I think that we kind of disagree on a little bit, but in a really healthy way, more because I think we're trying to kind of watch out for each other a little bit too, you know?
I'd say the negative thing about Anthony is his work ethic. Because when you're his partner, you need to be everywhere all at once, all the time, no matter what. So even when he says that we're going to cool it down for a little bit, or we're going to take it easy, or we're going to have a little quiet winter or fall, it's no such thing. He'll send over, hey, we got this next Thursday, this Friday, that Saturday, then that Monday, but Tuesday, well, I'll take it easy after this week. But actually, we have this next month and 3 more things after that. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the hell? And from going to like, okay, I get a little breather, and I'm not going to be at a football game on a Friday night, or I'm not going to be somewhere on a Saturday morning or editing anything, all of a sudden my calendar's full again. But again, I kid, because I love doing it. I really do. I mean, as much as it can, you know, definitely be taxing on both of us to run around like chickens with our heads cut off, and we've split up now with games and things like that, because we can't be everywhere at once. We have a few games that are coming up that we can't be at the same time, but our services are required, and we're gonna have to figure that out. And I think it's not really a negative thing, but at the same time, I think with his work ethic and where he needs to be all the time, I think he doesn't recognize when either one of us are about to get burned out or anything like that. But again, we haven't yet, and I don't think that we're going to. And I think that it really does show that we are able to do these things. Even when we think that it's impossible, we can't be somewhere, or we're not going to be able to do it, we just make it happen. I don't know how the heck we do it, but we make it happen. And I think that gives us even more pride and love the fact that we were able to do that and accomplish things.
Cool. I love that answer.
Great answer.
Great answer. Now, sometimes our best qualities are also our weak, our worst. I looking at this, it does make you wonder, right? Like all the things I mentioned, like how are you all in all these places at once? He must have cloned himself. There's really no way at this point. Like, it's pretty wild. And you have children. Like I do, I'd say 90% of that, but I don't have kids. So like, that's like where I sit with it. I'm like, I just have the time.
That stuff, you just like, you kind of figure out what's the most valuable things about your life, right?
Sure,
like,
that's fair.
So I never will sacrifice. I mean, once in a while on Friday nights, obviously I cover a game, and I'm not having pizza night on Friday nights with the kids. But, you know, that comes at a sacrifice of also being able to grow something, and maybe financially down the road be able to do more stuff than you were able to do, or to help build something. But like, yeah, to me, I try never to take a time away from the kids. I think that's the most important. But then I value who I spend my time with. Like we have people that are sitting out here for us. Like I value my time with those people, right? So I don't sacrifice necessarily time with those people, but I look at like what's just really important in life and what I'm interested in. And maybe I realize that as I get older and you have kids and you see that and you pursue something. But yeah, I try to be everywhere because I think it's important that, we're doing this together, right? So if my part of the business is working my tail off and being everywhere, then that's what I got to do to grow this business, right? So I have to look at my time and how I spend it. And it's a sacrifice and sometimes it's a lot, but it's worth it.
I think the one thing that, and it's not to take any credit away from either one of us, but we have amazing support systems too.
Correct.
And I would be remiss to not talk about them too, whether it's our kids' parents, whether it's our parents, whether it's our siblings, whether it's our friends, whatever it is. We have so many people, on the payroll, but they're not really on the payroll. But we have so many people in the background that are taking care of these things for us to be able to go on a Friday night, go somewhere. We have people who are supporting us that are pushing us to do this, that realize that we have a passion for this. And anytime that, we might not have that little, oomph to get over that hill, they're pushing us and saying, no, go do it. Like, it's okay. I got this. It's all right. Or, I'll go with you or whatever. Like, we'll figure this out, and I think that goes such a long way because you see what we do, you see what we create, but it's not done just because of him, and it's not done just because of me, and it's not done just because of us. It's done because of the people that we have behind us too.
Yep. Takes a village, as they say.
It sure does.
Well, for both of you, first off, thanks again for being here and choosing to do this monumentous episode here and having me be a part of it as well. That really means a great deal, and I'm so glad to see the success, because it is definitely well deserved. But something like this, I think, is just so necessary for high school sports, especially in Massachusetts. I would be surprised that long term, either you guys are expanding this to different states somehow, or other states are someone in other states are copying this if they're already not. Like, it is. I think the idea is just it's so there, and it makes a ton of sense.
He'll have us booked in Texas or something.
Yeah. Texas football on Friday night.
Texas high school football is a big deal, man.
What are you doing next Thursday?
We're
taking a plane.
I gotta see JetBlue.
JetBlue.
And I will say this, and you just said something, and it just triggered. I know John's gonna giggle when I say this, but we do have people that that are kind of in the same realm of what we cover with, whether it's football season or basketball season, but specifically football, that actually are doing the same stuff that we kind of have done or doing, and basing it like how they interview people, what they, after a game and stuff. And we giggle about it, but we take that as such a compliment that other people are paying attention to our stuff. And even if they're imitating exactly what we're doing, like, they watched something that we did and they took it. And so we look at that stuff as, competition's fun. It's competitive, like that stuff. Having people that do what you do and the change and evolve is great. I love that. It keeps you fresh and keeps you young, I think. But I think that's just, we need to say that because I think that's so important to what we do and how well we do it, that people who've been doing it for longer than us are really kind of taken to our format and trying to, really cool. Replicate it.
Imitation is one of the biggest compliments. Easily.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, the stuff that we do, we all got influenced by something,
right.
Whether it's all the thousands of movies I watched or, songs that I've listened to. I incorporate everything that I have in my brain that I've learned over time to what we do now. It's not something that just came out of thin air. I think we're all influenced on so many things, and that's where the art comes of interviewing and, videography and putting movies together and things like that. Is you got it from somewhere. It's not created organically out of nowhere. So
really cool. I love that. Well, about an hour in, I'm just going to selfishly plug right now. I have a podcast as well. It's called Turntable Teachers. You should like and subscribe. And this last segment, I decided to kind of pull in my own piece of this, if you don't mind. I have a segment on my show when I have my guests on. It's called Pop Quiz.
Okay.
So normally it's where I ask rapid fire questions that have very little to do with music, because my obviously podcast is about music, but this one will be a little less. It's going to be an all-encompassing thing. Cool. I'm just going to ask you guys a bunch of random questions. Some might have to do with sports. Some might absolutely nothing to do with sports. Cool, it's just,
I like this. All right.
And you guys will both be able to answer all these questions, I would say. So the first question that I wanted to ask is, which high school team is the most underrated in Massachusetts? And it can be any sport. Ooh. That you've covered, or maybe you've seen, while you're covering, you were a little bit more impressed with them than you realized.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah,
something?
Yeah,
something? I'm gonna say, I mean, we've always been. We talked about Shawshane, we talked about Malden Catholic, and I would say it's in the Neshoba Tech Vikings. I would say that football team, a Division VIII football team, who this year took on some monsters in the non-league, played the number one team in the state, played the number one team in Division VI, and they lost by a point. That is a team that I think what we do such a good job of is sometimes covering the teams that people don't see or wouldn't see in the newspaper all the time or don't necessarily get that notoriety. But that's a program that we've watched grow as Beyond has grown as well. And to see this little dinky Division VIII team that, wasn't really known for football, and to see the powerhouse it's become over the last 4 years, that's a team that doesn't get enough coverage. And they say it all the time. We're the only people that really cover this team and what they've done and the themes that they have and their entrance and the bagpipes. Like, this is a high school program that if any kid who lives in that area is looking to get into the tech part of high school, career and wants to be a plumber or an electrician or whatever else, that is a high school to go to that not only can you pursue that, but you can also be a part of a football program, be a part of a winning tradition, and be a part of something that's maybe more special than, people would see in a newspaper box score. So my answer would be them for sure.
I'd have to say, and it's not because being from the city, but Medford High baseball, they definitely had some mediocre years over the last few years, but I will say that they won their first GBL title in 10 years, and we covered that team, and everyone contributed, from the elder statesmen that were graduating, those seniors, to the underclassmen. There was a freshman pitcher that came up and was put on the biggest stage and held his composure the whole time. And to know that team's going to be so strong the next few years, they're definitely not to sleep on at all. I think they're going to repeat easily, and I think that they've only gotten better. But that's definitely a team that didn't get as much love as they deserved, but they proved it last year that they definitely deserved it. And what was great when we covered them was Anthony went in during one of their first practices during the winter, and they all said how nice it would be and how the biggest goal for them was to win that GBL title, because they saw that banner every day when they went to work out and it said 2015. They're like, oh God, it would be great to win this, and they did it. And again, everyone contributed. It was such a great team to watch and cover.
Cool. Guess you'd want to have on the podcast that you've not had on yet?
Just anyone, period?
Anybody.
Like in the world?
Sure. Why not? How about we do one that's more like attainable, and then you gotta give me like a white whale.
I think for me, having Coach Dibbs on from Catholic Memorial on the podcast is like covering these sports. I mean, he is the greatest. He is the greatest high school football coach in the history of Massachusetts, in my opinion, and has won on such humongous levels, consistently, dominantly. I would love to have someone on like that, just to kind of hear how he's done it for so long and been so good. If I had to pick someone outside the box, Dave Portnoy, Barstool Sports, hands down. I think what he's built and how he's done it, and people can agree to disagree about him, but he has built something really special. It's a guy who bet on himself in a million different ways, and most of the time won and has won. And we bet on ourselves a lot, and I think we put ourselves out there. So just to kind of have that conversation with someone like that, I'd be really interested. I would love to have him on. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to divert and go away from the show and talk about the actual coverage itself. I would love to get in a hockey rink more. We've done a few hockey games, and definitely can get cold. It can definitely test the equipment and stuff like that. But I love hockey so much, and every time that we cover it, I love it. I can't get enough of it. I'd love to get back in the rink, regardless of what team it is. We've done girls hockey, we did boys hockey, we did senior nights with hockey, a lot with Medford, but I'd love to branch out and do a lot of hockey. That would be something that I think is very obtainable. I don't know. I think a white whale of kind of coverage would be just to get back into one of those professional sports team arenas. We've been in every single arena, right?
Right.
Every single one. We've been to TD Garden. We've covered in there. We've been at Fenway, on the field there. We were at Gillette. But to be back in there, but maybe even covering a bigger game, whether it be a higher division or something like that, I think that would be unbelievable. I would really like to do that.
We got two in the works here. We'll talk about afterwards about a couple games at the Garden coming up in January. So, yeah.
Cool.
Dreams come true.
Yeah.
Speaking of professional sports, give me a prediction win total as we sit here today for the Patriots, and what is their ceiling this season? how far could they or will they go?
I think 10 games, 10 games is probably like the ceiling. I think, there'll be a couple games I think that they lose to teams they probably shouldn't lose to. Like, some Patriots teams in the past have, but I think if you see what you saw on Sunday night, yeah, I think 9-10 is realistic. And, a team that in a wide open AFC that I don't think really has a dominant team in it, or a couple teams like the Colts or the Jaguars who you're kind of like, let's see how they are the next 5 or 6 games. But I don't think there's a team that really stands out in the AFC. So I think they're a team that could win 9 or 10 games and maybe make a little noise in the playoffs. Yeah, if they play how they played the other night, for sure.
Yeah, I think at 9 or 10, I would definitely agree with that. But again, anything could happen in playoff football. But
Right.
I don't see them as a team that could really go that far unless something fluky happens. But I would say that this is probably the first year that all of the juggernauts of the past really aren't juggernauts anymore. I mean, Philadelphia is still a beast, but other than that, no one's running away with this at all. I don't think we're going to necessarily be able to predict who's going to be in the Super Bowl this year. Right. And that's the first time we've been able to do that. Now, keep in mind, we're also fans of the Patriots who you expected that. That's what was supposed to happen every single year. And then recently, obviously, it's been the Chiefs and the Eagles, but I don't think this is the first year in a long time I think that it's a toss-up. I don't know who's going to be in there. Yeah.
Which is what I've been saying from the start of the season. I think they could have. I think the ceiling for them is what the Commanders did last year. Right. I think they could. I think with that sort of veteran coach. I know obviously Jaden Daniels and Drake May are the same class, but I think Drake didn't get a completely fair shot last year and didn't get a full season. I could easily see he's definitely popped off the way Jaden did last year. I feel as though that if everything sort of bounced correctly, they could make an AFC title game. Right. I think that's their ceiling, and they could win maybe 11 games is where I put them personally. Okay, Anthony, I want to pivot to something we did in episode 100.
I know where this is going.
And because you've bragged on in many occasions that every state capital off the top of your head, and you can get it pretty. I can't remember exactly.
I do know every state capital.
Well, yeah.
Disappointing for a show.
Disappointing, and episode 100 would beg to differ. But hey, we're here on episode 200.
I got 25 in a minute. That's pretty. That was pretty good.
That wasn't that good.
It's like 2.5 seconds of pop there.
Okay.
So I'll try to beat it.
So let's have someone from our audience maybe throw on a timer. Oh, awesome. Shout out to my lovely wife, Carissa, who's back there. About to let me know when you're good, baby.
Hold on.
And I'm going to start alphabetical order. I'm just going to go down the line.
All right, here we go.
Sweating.
You said alphabetical?
I'm just going to go I got a list right now. Okay. So I'm just going to go. Right. I'm going to say the state. You're going to tell me the capital, and we will move on to the next one once you've got it.
Okay.
Ready? Go.
Alabama.
Montgomery.
Alaska.
Juneau.
Arizona.
Phoenix.
Arkansas.
Little Rock.
California.
Sacramento.
Colorado.
Denver.
Connecticut.
Hartford.
Delaware.
Dover.
Florida.
Tallahassee.
Georgia.
Atlanta.
Hawaii.
Honolulu.
Idaho.
Boise.
Illinois.
Springfield.
Indiana.
Indianapolis.
Iowa.
Des Moines.
Kansas.
Topeka.
Kentucky.
Frankfurt.
Louisiana.
Baton Rouge.
Maine.
Augusta.
Maryland.
Annapolis.
Massachusetts.
Boston.
Michigan.
Lansing.
Minnesota.
St. Paul.
Mississippi.
Jackson.
Missouri.
Jefferson City.
Montana.
Helena.
Nebraska.
Lincoln.
Nevada.
Carson City.
New Hampshire.
Concord.
New Jersey.
Trenton.
New Mexico.
Santa Fe.
New York.
Albany.
North Carolina.
Raleigh.
North Dakota.
Bismarck.
Ohio.
Columbus.
Oklahoma.
Crap. Oklahoma City.
All right. I got 35.
That was 35.
It was 35, and I don't know if they were right. You could have just been.
No, I'm right.
No, I wouldn't have moved on if they weren't right.
Oklahoma City the last
I think you
one.
said
Oklahoma
Saugus
City.
from
Yeah,
Massachusetts.
I think I was spot on
Yeah,
that.
he cheated.
How many? 35?
35.
Nice job.
If I had a minute 20, I think I could have got that.
All right, throw another 20 seconds on.
He's getting older.
Let's do
He's
it.
20
short- he's
seconds?
We
winning.
got 20 seconds.
All right, here we
Let's
go.
make it happen. Let me know when you're. Hold on. Let me see where we left off.
Oklahoma was
Left
last
off
one.
Oklahoma. Got you. Okay. I'm ready.
I'm ready, too.
20 seconds on the clock.
20 seconds.
Here we go.
Go.
Oregon.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Salem.
Good. Pennsylvania.
Harrisburg.
Rhode Island. You got to move.
Providence.
So South Carolina.
Columbia.
South Dakota.
Pierre.
Tennessee.
This is brutal.
Come on.
Nashville,
Texas,
Austin,
Utah,
Salt Lake City.
Vermont.
It's the longest 20
Montpelier.
seconds of my life.
This is a long 20 seconds.
That was like 43.
God, what was the first one? Oregon. I was like, oh.
Hey, that's where we left off. The Tennessee one's a little unacceptable.
Tennessee, I can't.
Tennessee's
believe I said that.
unacceptable.
Like,
Let's say
35 in a minute is pretty good.
that's pretty damn
And
good.
then,
That's
maybe
pretty damn good.
7
All
or
right,
more.
that's good.
He teaches your children. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I don't know if any other teachers banging those out in a minute like
Hey,
that. I'm just throwing
it was
that out
impressive.
there.
I couldn't have done it.
That was a hell of a lot more than the last time.
You know,
10 more.
Yeah. Good
That's
job.
10 more. Yeah, you've
I was
progressed.
locked
There
in.
you go.
I was locked in.
See what happens at 300.
Awesome. Anthony, if you could be a host for any other podcast show that doesn't have to do with sports, what would it be?
Ooh. Honestly, I think I would do one on. It'd just be funny. I would love to do one with my son on Mario Kart. We watch a lot of like YouTube videos of like people who like do like live podcasts playing Mario Kart, and like we've learned a lot of tricks, and like like he's so funny to play with sometimes. I would love to do like maybe not like a total series on it, but I would love to do episodes in which him and I are playing Mario Kart together, because I think that'd be pretty funny.
Sweet.
You know?
John, if you could do video coverage at any event that's not sports related, what would it be?
Any event not sports related. Wow. I'd have to say, I don't know. Something Christmassy. I want to cover something Christmassy.
Yeah.
Whether it's like an event, whether it's like a tree lighting or something like that. I think I'd have a lot of fun with that. I love Christmas.
Well, your cousin does all the
props.
all the Christmas
Yeah,
stuff now.
That's an
with
episode
props.
coming out. Yeah,
Right.
I have a cousin who makes Halloween props, and now he's geared it over to Christmas, and we might be covering something like that too. So,
Yeah,
but
actually, seriously, at his house.
Yeah.
And he's gonna have some.
Todd Angeli's coming to,
Right.
to sing.
Todd Angeli, I've met, yeah.
Yeah.
So again, like I mentioned, Chirping Zebras again. Well, I actually, you met Mark Riley in
Yeah.
Boston, which was pretty funny that happened. But I actually produced a reel when they had Todd Angeli on. He was telling the story of how
He got the job.
got the job and it went completely viral.
He was a bartender, right? Up in the rafters.
Yeah,
or
and they
whatever.
grabbed him and they said, "You come with us," and he did it, and it was like one of the craziest stories I've ever heard, and it
Now
went
he's
mega
like
viral.
he's a figure. He'll always just like Rene Rancourt.
Yeah.
He'll be
Everywhere.
permanently
He's
burned
permanently,
in the
and he's a
mind.
great guy.
Yep.
I met him a bunch of times. He's really
Very
good dude.
personable, yeah.
Really good dude. So, all right, last question that I want to ask you guys, and then we'll wrap up this momentous episode. And I think this is the best place to end. Favorite activity or thing you like to do with your kids?
Ooh. I mean, Mario Kart's up there for sure.
Pick something else.
No,
besides
I know,
Mario
I know,
Kart.
I know.
But yes, I figured that would be
Going
up
over
there.
state capitals.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the Museum of Science is probably our favorite thing. I think that we're members, and we go anytime we get emails about anything that's changed there. It's a place that you can go to and never see everything all the time. And yeah, my kids love school. They love learning. And so we go there. That's like our special place. We go to IMAX and watch shows. When you're a member, you can get tickets to all these different things. And so that's like our spot. I would say the Museum of Science is something that I truly enjoy doing with them a lot. Cool.
I'd say there's nothing beats a movie at home with your kids. I think it's the best, especially when it's a movie that you love and you're introducing it to them.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
hopefully
Yes.
they receive it nicely. I've gotten my movies made fun of before, but there's nothing better than sitting up with your kids and watching their reaction to something. One thing that sticks out in my mind is I was watching The Sixth Sense with my daughter a few years ago, and obviously most of us know the ending. If you haven't, the movie's 30 years old. Get with the times. But I'll never forget. I kept looking over at her. I'm like, she's gonna get it. She's gonna figure out what's going on. And she was watching, and you could just watch her see the film the same way I did when I first saw it when I was a kid, and I'm watching, I'm like, oh my God, she's getting it. And then she looked at me, she's like, and I'm like, especially this day and age, how did you avoid the plot with social media and whatever you're watching all the time? But
Right.
she did, and I got to watch that reaction. And again, just reactions with movies that I love in general, to see them laugh at the same parts that I laughed at as a kid, or get teary-eyed. I still get teary-eyed when I watch certain things, but to watch them get those emotions. But I'll never forget that moment, because she looked at me and she's like, the whole time. I'm like, the whole time. She's like, oh my God. And it was awesome. But
so great.
movies with the kids are the best.
I look forward to that too. When I have kids, we have kids, introducing them to like all the things
Just all
that
those
I
things.
that I like. Yeah, and then
Forcing it on them.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
you got to.
I think for us, it's like more so Carissa, but like when we sit down and go through the Harry Potter series, I think that will be
that'll
like
be cool.
that'll be pretty cool when that happens. But I want to end there. Last thing before we get out of here, and another 100 episodes to you guys, for sure. Can't wait to do this in episode 300.
Yeah.
I'm putting that out in the universe.
Yeah.
What do you hope for in the next 100 episodes of Beyond, and sort of where do you guys hope that Beyond goes from here, where you guys currently are to where you want to be when you achieve that, or just in the next year or so? Like, what are you looking to do more of or expand upon that you haven't yet, or any great events that you have coming up that you think are noteworthy? Just really curious to see like where you guys think the platform is going from here.
Do you want to go first this one?
Yeah, I can start. I would say just where we want to be now in the present, because we never thought we'd get where we are now. And again, things just happen and they come into light. You're like, oh, I didn't even know I really wanted to do this, or this was a goal that I wanted to obtain. But I think just continuing doing what we're doing now and being able to give back, whether it's giving back to a student athlete, giving back to a coach, giving back to each other, giving back to our families, like, I want to just keep doing that because we have such a great message that we're covering, that we're showing and that we're presenting to everyone. And I hope that even if it's just one person's, mind changes because we showed them something that they might not have thought of before, or they're seeing a kid talk about a school that they're playing at and they decide to go to that school, or play a sport that they were on the fence of playing or something like that. I just think I want to just continue doing that because we've heard such great stories. We've had people reach out to us and say, hey, I just want to let you know that I was on the fence of playing this year, and I might not have stayed at this school, or I was thinking of going here, and you helped me, you inspired me, and that's the most rewarding thing, is to see them take that to heart.
I would just say, and like continue, I think what John is doing with our media days is going to blow our business up, right? Like, I think it's only a matter of time. I think that is going to, over the next 100 episodes, I would love to see that we are the official media day coverages of high school, that we go in and take pictures and we take videos and we interview kids, and the personality side of it's out there, and the beautiful work that John does is there, like, to be a complete package like that. And I think for me personally, it's like continuing to growing MSC and gigs and getting our voice out there for Beyond, and people seeing who they are, because if people are attracted to me emceeing something, they're going to go visit our page, and then they're going to see his tremendous work on there, right? So it is a way of advertising our business by being out there and meeting. Like, I know nothing about Frisbee. I've had to learn a lot about it over the last couple of years, and because in order for me to be good at that and for people to take me serious and then look at our brands, I can't just be a schmo that goes there and doesn't know anything and just relies on being loud or being whatever. So you have to adapt, and Frisbee fans are tough, right? Like, I joke with John, but like, I once said, oh, they're going into sudden death, and the guy's like, it's overtime, not sudden death, like screamed to me,
Shit.
that's a growing aspect of being like, okay, I'm not going to make that mistake again, because that's what it is. But
Careful those Frisbee fans.
yeah, but that's, I think
get
it's really trying to grow that, because we are, I think, talented at what we do, and having everyone to see the complete package. And I feel like that's what I really want to focus on these next 100, to see that we can really do anything you need.
I love it.
And it's true.
Well, gentlemen, you guys are doing like priceless work in so many ways, creating community amongst all of these high schools, or adding to it at the very least. And that is like incredibly exciting. It's incredibly just noteworthy, and I just can't commend you both enough for the work you're doing in these communities and what you're doing for kids, coaches, teams, parents, right? It's truly really special. And Anthony, just to like be at the beginning of the inception of this thing, not even really sure what it was, Nokia flip phone and all, right?
I was like, what's this?
To see where you're at. Yeah. How do I record? Wait, what is this piece of equipment? To see like that version of you to like where you're at now and thriving. It's it's beautiful. It really, truly is beautiful. And I wish you guys nothing but the best in the next 100 episodes. And congratulations for the last 200. And I'm always in your guys' corner, and as a lot of us are, and on your journey. And just can't wait to see where this goes.
We're in your corner too, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
same.
that.
Thank you and your beautiful studio here and everything you've grown from our 100th episode to 200 to see what this has become and what you like. You're all in. You are all in.
I'm all in.
And you just
I'm all in.
you got married and you're starting that aspect of your life, which is amazing. Like you've accomplished so much along with what we have. It's been so fun to kind of watch you do your thing too.
Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah.
And you guys have, given me opportunity and made me be a part of what you've done past this, right? Like hiring me to, come out to do, to shoot events with you guys and shoot games. Like, I don't get to do a lot. I mean, I do a lot of photography, a lot of videography these days, but my first true love was sports, was basketball, right? So like, I don't always get those opportunities to get out and shoot sports. But you guys have offered that to me and given me that and like scratched that itch for me. And like, that just means the world that you guys feel that way about me. And I always am here for you guys, no matter what you need. So this was a pleasure to do. Like Anthony said, this is AOA Studios. And if you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, be sure to check us out at aoastudios.org. Book your session or service here today up in Beverly, Massachusetts. Once again, I'm Mike Scarfo, one of the owners here. And this was Beyond Podcast 200th episode celebration. Once again, fellas, thanks so much for choosing to do it here and being here with us. And can't wait to see you guys at episode 300.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Awesome.
Cool.
Nice.
That was great. Nice job, dude. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I don't post other podcasts often, but hopefully that was all right.
Nice job, dude.
We need you over here.
I had so many fucking negative things to say.